Yo, how's it going? This is Cassie from Ground Up Fitness, and this is a back and biceps routine. So, all upper body. We're going to start with warming up. We're going to walk through the routine set by set with the rests running on the screen, so you don't have to worry about that. If anything feels uncomfortable more than just the work that you're doing, stop, look over the technique again, try to do it as slow as possible with the technique as sound as possible. And if it still doesn't feel right, then move on to the next exercise. I don't want anybody to get hurt. That's definitely not my intention. So warm up really well, find your range of motion, and let's get started. All right, so to warm up, I've got the lightest dumbbell that I have. If you don't have a really light dumbbell, you can do this body weight, or you can grab like a bottle of water or can of soup or whatever. We're going to do this 90-degree angle, the Japanese waving cat. We're going to do 10 on this side and 10 on the other. If you haven't noticed, or if you're new here before, all of our warm-ups are really similar. And the warm-ups that we do are dynamic warm-ups that are helping us find our range of motion and to be prepared for the workout. If you find something that doesn't feel right in your warm up, then it's like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do X, Y, or Z. So it's a good time to kind of look things over, feel things, make sure that all your joints are working how they should. My shoulder and my elbow stay in the same angle. If you don't have this same depth in yours as I do, that's okay. Everybody has different abilities, and sometimes one side is more flexible or strong than the other. We're going to do 10. I imagine that's about 10. And we're going to grab the weight with our palm facing our hip, cross your dumbbell over your body. Kingsley, get out of that plant. Cross your hand over your body. And we're going to, with a bent elbow, find about 2 o'clock on the clock, down to about, what, 5? No, 6, 7. 2 to about 7. Stretching backwards, keeping a slight bend in your elbow. I'll show you from this angle. 9 and 10. Switch sides. Palm facing your hip, slight bend in your elbow. I call this a Lamborghini door stretch because you're opening up like a Lamborghini. I know it's a really relatable experience for everybody. 6, 7, 8. We're going to lose the light later, so sorry about that. Hopefully the lights inside here will be enough. Then we're going to grab the dumbbell both sides here horizontally. Keep your elbows bent slightly and find a stretch in your shoulder. Down and back. Eight, 9, and 10. And then we're going to finish our warm up with inchworms. So get a mat out or do it on your floor. You're a grown adult, you can do whatever you want. And in this inchworm, my feet are going to stay completely still the whole time. Bend my knees, hands flat to the floor. Walk out into a plank, hands, elbows, shoulders all in a straight line. Bend my knees, walk my hands back to flat feet, flat hands, and up. We're going to do 8 of these. Walk out, plank, and walk back, flat feet, flat hands, and then I stand up. So I don't want you to do this like a hamstring stretch all the way bent over. You want to bend your knees so that your hands come flat to the floor. Walk out, and then keep your knees bent, feet back to the floor, and up. That's what, 5, 6, 7. This is also really good for warming up your wrists and your forearms because our back and bicep day is a pulling day. We did chest, shoulders, and triceps before, and that was our push. This is our pull day. So pulling involves a lot of wrists and forearms. So we're all done warming up. Take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to get started. That's a fucking volcano. Super far away, but it's humongous. Mexico City. Killing it. And these are my bebés. Another bebé. If you have access to a fixed weight bar, a short barbell or a Z bar, you can use that as well. But I'm going to show it with dumbbells so that people who have less equipment have access to this one. So the posture I think is the most important for this one. So try setting up for it without weights first. Your feet are going to be a 1 and a 2 apart, right? So hips width apart, knees bent slightly. And just imagine you're holding the dumbbells with your hands facing up. That's what supine means, the hands facing up. So from here, I'm going to bend my knees and send my hips back until my ribs are pretty close to my quads here. The weights are going to be hanging here. My hands are going to be facing up. From here, I have most of my weight in between the balls of my feet and my heels, and my abs are really supporting my low back. If I let my abs go and get archy in this one, it can be painful in the low back. So you want to pull your ribs in, be strong through your abs. Your hands are going to be here, and then you're going to row backwards with your elbows together, keeping your elbows as close to your torso as possible without standing up in the row, right? You want to stay still, row backwards, elbows kind of like the goal is to touch them behind your back, even though obviously that's not going to happen. And then back down to plumb to the floor. Elbows back. You want to feel the squeeze in your lats and your rhomboids in your back up here. Elbows really close, and we'll have a dumbbell in each hand. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm using 20s, but you can use, bottles of water, 5s, 8s, 10s, 15s, whatever feels good for you and is challenging for the rep range. We're going to do 4 sets of 8. So feet, 1, 2, hands facing forward in front of my legs, chin to my chest. This is kind of like an RDL kind of feel. My hips go back. I've got my ribs up, supporting my low back, and my elbows come back. 1, 2. Trying to touch your elbows behind your back. 3, 4, 5. Like I said, you don't want to feel yourself rising up. You want to stay low, keep your abs really strong, feel that squeeze before you let go. Squeeze. 8. I'm going to do 10. Squeeze. 9. One more. Squeeze behind me. 10. Put the weights down safely. We are going to wait a minute and a half. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you shouldn't be doing in this exercise. You shouldn't be rounding your back. We should have like a really slutty position. Butt out, chest out, and then try to touch your ribs as close to your quads as possible. Not this. This, right? Squeeze behind you with your elbows together. You don't want your elbows to open up. You want them to stay close to your body and back down. You also don't want to bounce out of it. When you're doing the row, you want to feel the big stretch from the back muscle, come up in the concentric, squeeze, feel the squeeze for the iso, and then down with control on the eccentric. All right, we need to rest before I pass out. All right, so we're going to do set number 2. We're going to do 4 sets of these. And again, excuse me, it's a supine dumbbell bilateral bent row. Obviously, there's option to do rows unilateral. There's options to do rows with barbells. There's options to do rows from an upright position. So that's why all those words are necessary in describing what this is. And I want you folks to learn from my videos and not just follow along. So dumbbell, bent over, bilateral supine row. All right, here we go. I'm going to pick the weights up with intention bring them in front. I'm going to open up a 1 and a 2. Lean forward, RDL style, bringing my ribs really close to my quads. My weight is in my heels. Row back, try to touch my elbows together behind my back. My hands are facing up. That's the supine. 2. We're going for 8 to 10 reps here. 3. I prefer you do heavier weights for 8 than lighter ones for 10. You're going to get stronger that way. But if and only you have good form with the lighter weights for 10 first. Up, concentric, squeeze, isometric, let the weights down with control, eccentric. 7, 8, my abs are keeping my low back safe. 9, 1 more. 10. All right, we get a minute and a half. All right, we're going up to 25s. The 1 and the 2, soft knees, hands, palms facing up, RDL, backwards, hips back, chest out, pull my weights back, and down 1, 2, squeezing my elbows behind my back, 3, 4, get low, 5, 6, I'm only going to do 8 because this is heavy, squeeze, 7, 8. All right, minute and a half. And we're going to do 1 more set for 4. Last set of our supine rows. We did 4 sets of 8 to 10, and then we're gonna move on, picking up my weights with intention. So when I say that, I don't want you to do this and pick the weights up with your back. I want you to kind of squat the weights up, stand up, so that we don't hurt ourselves putting the weights down or picking them up. That would be stupid. All right. Feet hips width apart, ribs in, shoulders back, kind of RDL down and back. I want my ribs close to my quads. Squeeze my shoulder blades together like I want to crack an egg between my shoulder blades. I want to touch my elbows behind my back. My breath, my abs are holding my low back safe. If I let go of my breath and my abs, then you're going to feel it in your low back. So if you do feel it in your low back, go down to a lower weight and control the technique. One more. Sheesh. Okay. Rest. And then next exercise. So this next exercise, it's okay if you feel like you do this one a lot. It's super valuable, and it's probably the exercise that's helped me get the strongest for pull-ups and like body weight calisthenics, stuff like that. So we're gonna do dumbbell bench rows, unilateral, one side at a time. You can use kettlebells if you want. You can use like a jug of laundry detergent. Works well for this movement. But we're gonna play with the timing of this one. We're gonna pull up, do the concentric phase quick. So 1 second to pull. You're gonna hold it for 1 full second, and then we're gonna take 3 Mississippis to get down to the bottom of the row. So this is what it's gonna look like. You're gonna be on a bench or on the floor. You can be on all fours on the floor. If you don't have a bench, your hand can be like this or like this, whichever way is more comfortable for your wrist. I prefer to be like this. My weight is in the same line with my hand. My back foot is bent. My back leg is bent with my foot up on my toes. I feel the stretch in my lat here, the muscle under my armpit. And I pull up 1 second, hold 1 second. 1, 2, 3. Pull up concentric, hold iso. 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna do 6 on each side. Row up, hold 1, 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna use 20s for this first set, but feel free to use what is challenging for you. 10s, 12s, 15s, 20s, whatever. I'm gonna go up after our second set, but I'm gonna start with this 20. So here, big stretch, row up, my elbow draws in. 1, 2, 3, 1. You wanna keep your trap out of this, which is the muscle next to your shoulder by your neck. You don't wanna shrug. Hold, 1, 2, 3. Row, hold, 1, 2, 3. Row, hold, 1, 2, 3. One more. Row, hold, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do the other side. I'm gonna show you from this other angle. When I say not to shrug, I don't want the row to come up where your shoulder comes up close to your ear. You want to keep your shoulder back and down and row your pinky finger up to your hip, keeping your trap out of it. So look like this. I'm going to turn the bench a little bit more. Okay. Hand right under my elbow, right under my shoulder. Big stretch in my lat. Row, hold, 1, 2, 3. 1. Row, hold, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Row, hold, 1, 2, 3. Big stretch. 4. Hold, squeeze. 1, 2, 3. And one more. Row, squeeze. 1, 2, 3. So what I don't want you to do is row up like this, where your shoulder comes up and your weight comes up to like your chest line. You want to row back, then bend your elbow. So you don't want to bend your elbow immediately. We're going to rest a minute and a half, and then we'll do that again. All right, we're gonna do our second set, and I'm gonna use 25 pounds this time. The first time I ever did these exercises, I was working with a trainer, or this exercise, I was working with a trainer and I was doing it on my own, like, I don't know, like 12 pounds or something like that. And the homie handed me like a 40-pound dumbbell, and I looked at him like he was psycho. And he was like, just try it. And I tried it, and I had like 3 reps with it. And so he's like, just don't underestimate yourself. Obviously, when you have the technique, sound, but your lats and your back muscles in this movement in rows are really strong. So don't underestimate yourself once you feel like you have the technique. Big stretch. 1, 1, 2, 3. That's 1. Row, hold. 1, 2, 3. That's 2. Row, hold. 1, 2, 3. That's 3. Row, hold. 1, 2, 3. That's 4. Row, hold. 1, 2, 3. That's 5. Last one. Big row, hold. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. We're going to switch sides. One, hold. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, hold. 1, 2, 3, 2. Pull my ribs in, strong abs. Row. 1, 1, 2, 3. That's 3. It's 4. Row. Hold. 1, 2, 3. That's 5. One more. Hold. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Big stretch. That's 6. We get a minute and a half. And we're going to do that again. We're going to do 4 sets. Surprise, surprise. So, in case you're wondering why we wait as long as we do in between sets, it's because your body needs that much time to recover. The glycogen and the glucose and all the things that your body uses for energy that it grabs from your cells takes some time to recover once you've pushed your body to almost failure. This is all with good form being, our first priority. But if you don't need that full minute and a half, if you're ready to go, it's because you can lift more weight, and it's because your body isn't using close to all of its energy to lift with the weight and the rep range that you're working at. So once your form is legit, find a place where the weight is heavy and you're tired after your set and you need that full minute and a half, that's a really good sign if you're ready to go up in weight. The second really good sign if you're ready to go up in weight is if your first and your last rep look exactly the same. There should be a little bit of struggle, a little bit of shrug in your last or second to last rep. You might even need to take a tiny bit of a break before you finish that last rep. That's how you know that the weight you're using for that lift is legit. And lastly, if you're not even tired a little bit after your set, then you need to go up in weight. So those are 3 signs that you're ready to do more in the lift once your technique is legit. All right, this is our third set of rows. This is a tempo row, so we're doing a second of concentric, second of iso, 3 seconds of eccentric. I'm using 25 pounds. I should probably go up. I'll go up in the next set. That's what everyone says, huh? Put your hand under your shoulder. Big stretch through your lat, strong abs. Row, hold. 1, 2, 3. Row, hold a second, 3 seconds down. 2. Holding my ribs into my abs so that my low back doesn't hurt, but I also don't want to arch. Stick my chest out, stick my butt out. Slutty as you can get. 1, 2, 3. Well, not as slutty as you can get, but close. 1, 2, 3. Row, 5. 1, 2, 3. Last rep. Row, hold. 1, 2, 3. So you want to be keeping our elbow really close to our torso in these rows. You don't want to be splaying out. Elbow really close, really squeezing under your armpit in your lat, that wing muscle. All right, here we go. Other side. If you don't have a bench, like I said, you can do this on all fours on the floor. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Row. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Row. 4. 1, 2, 3. Row. 5. 1, 2, 3. Row. 6. 1, 2, 3. All right, a minute and a half, and then we're gonna do our last set of those before we move on to some biceps exercises. Alrighty, last set of these tempo rows. Knee right under my hip, hand, elbow, shoulder in line. Like I said, you can be like this on your wrist if this is uncomfortable. Here I'm looking for a big stretch in my lat. So when I say that, big stretch here. Your lat goes all the way down almost past your rib cage. So when you're in this starting position, you want to feel the muscle as long as possible all the way to like right to your rib cage or a little bit underneath. Big stretch. Row. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Hold your ribs in. Chest out, butt out. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. I don't want this, right? We want our elbow to go back, pinky to go back to your hip. Hold 3 seconds down. That's 3. Row, hold 1, 2, 3. Row 5, 1, 2, 3. Row 6, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna switch sides. Big stretch of your lat. Row, hold 1, 2, 3. Row 2, 1, 2, 3. Row 4, 1, 2, 3. Row 5, 1, 2, 3. Row, hold 6, 1, 2, 3. We're done with our back exercises for now. We're going to need our bench. If you don't have a bench, you can do this just sat on like a chair or a couch or something that has your back straight up. We're gonna need something lighter, like 5s, 8s, 10s, 12s, 15s, something around there, depending on how strong you are. And I'll show you what's next. All right, we're gonna do a bicep exercise. If you don't have a bench like this, you can either do this exercise on your knees, like sat back on your knees, or sat on a chair, like a kitchen chair or on a box or whatever. We're gonna do bilateral hammer curls seated, and we're gonna go to failure with one weight and then put those down, and then go to failure with a lighter weight, which is called a drop set. So I'm gonna start with 12s and go to failure with them, and then pick up the 10s and do what I can there. I've got my elbows. This is just a demo, so you don't need to follow along quite yet if you're not ready, but push your elbows into the bench, chest out, shoulders back, and we want to isolate our biceps. So this is as far as I can go in the hammer curl without lifting up my elbows and using my shoulders to get this high. And we don't want to use our shoulders. This is a bicep curl. So elbows anchored. If they're not anchored into the bench, you can use yourself, right? Like squeeze your elbows into your torso. And we want to lift with our muscles, not with our ego, like I say often, because I see people do this wrong like 95% of the time. So squeeze your elbows in. We're not going to be those people. Our hands are on a neutral grip, so we're not having our palms up. We've got our thumbs facing forward, and we're going to curl up, squeeze, and control the eccentric. We don't want to let gravity take away half of the rep. Squeeze and control. That's 2. Go ahead and do it with me. And we're looking for failure. Failure isn't when it gets difficult. Failure is when you can't lift the weight up with good technique anymore. So that was 6, 7, 8. I'm looking for failure before 12 reps. 9. So if you need to do more than 12 reps to get to your failure, pick up a heavier pair of weights for the first part of your drop set. 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's all I got. And so I'm going to put them down immediately, pick up the lighter set, and go to failure again. So I don't want you to wait. I want you to go right back into it and give it at least like another 6 or 7 reps or whatever you've got with good form. But it shouldn't be a lot. 3, 4. My forearms are burning. 5, 6. I got one more. 7. All right, so that was a bilateral. I need to be conscious that the microphone's there and not knock my hand into it. That was a bilateral seated hammer curl drop set. So drop sets are when you start with a heavier weight, go to a decided rep or failure. In this case, it was failure, and then go to a lighter set of weights and finish with that. So you can do drop sets with a lot of different exercises. And also you can do drop sets if like you go to do a personal best on something and you can't get the full rep range. You can do the heavier weight first until you can't anymore and then go down to a lower weight. And so that's how drop sets work for us. We're going to rest the rest of our minute and a half, and then we're going to do that again. We're going to do 3 sets of these, and then we're going to do another bicep exercise, and then we're going to cool down. All right, second set. I want to show you from this angle so you can see how still and stable and supported my elbows are throughout this. I'm using a pair of 12s to start with, and then I'll drop into my 10s. I'm pushing into the chair, and I want to be stable through my feet, my butt, and my shoulder blades. The chair is set up, if not all the way 90 degrees. I'm just one more click back from that. My elbows anchored into the chair, and a little bit of a crossbody down, squeeze, hold, let your muscle control the eccentric. I don't want gravity to pull down your bicep curl. I want you to curl, squeeze, and down. You can see how my elbows are staying really still. My abs are really tight so that there's no or little to no momentum in the curl. I don't want to be swinging my weights. That's 9, 10, 11. That's it. Next. These are 10s. We're going to go immediately into our drop set and squeeze out what's left of the muscles. 1, 2, 3. Aye, it burns. I got one more. Ah! Yeah, no, that's it. So with that set, I did less than the set before, but that's okay because I'm just looking for failure. I'm not looking for specific rep range. So just because last set I did 10 and or 12 and 10 or something, no, I don't even think I did that. I think I did 12 and like 7. But this time I did 10 and like 6. So way less, but my failure was at a different spot, and that's okay. So we're going to rest a minute and a half, and then we're going to do one more set of these, and then we're going to move on. All right, we're going to do our last set of bilateral drop set hammer curls to failure. I'm starting with 12s, finishing with 10s, whatever is hard for you. And to repeat, you don't want to do more than 12 reps for either rep range because we don't want to take more than 12 reps to get to failure. It's too much wasting time to get to the desired effect. So you'll hear me talk about often how I'd rather you lift for heavier reps with a smaller rep range. So like I prefer you do 15 pounds for 8 reps instead of 10 pounds for 20 reps, you know? Like if your body can do something for 20 reps, that's easy. It's like not even work. When something's hard after 6, 7, 8 reps, that's work. And that's when your muscles get challenged. And that's when you hit hypertrophy. And that's when you get stronger. So do that. All right, so let's start with our 12s. I get really comfortable into the bench. If you're on your knees on the floor, you just want to be back into your heels so that you can be strong for your abs. You don't want to be standing straight up on your knees, but lean back into your heels. Now that I've rested like 3 minutes. 2, 3, 4. There's a little bit of crossbody happening with my hammer curl. I just feel like that's a good stopping point instead of coming up and being tempted to lift my elbows up off the bench, which is just a compensation that your body does. And we want to fight that. 8. Sheesh. 9. 10. Yeah, one more. 11. Okay, so, and that was a really good example of failure, right? Like I hit a stopping moment and I kept fighting to get the rep, but it was like almost not there. So that's what failure looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get 2 more. 6. 7. Okay, that is a burn. So that's what failure looks like. It's like it's almost not there, and you don't want to give up right away. You want to feel like you almost don't have it and fight through it. If you don't have it, that's okay, but like try for a few seconds. Don't give up right away. Okay, so we're gonna do one more bicep exercise. So similar weight range, 8, 10, 12, 15, something like that, depending on your strength level. And that will be our second to last exercise. I lied to you earlier. Sometimes I lie to people to make friends. So we're going to do another bicep exercise. And then I think I'm going to throw in a little bit of abs. Also, people are always like, oh, let's do abs more. And technically, every single exercise we do should be abs if you're bracing and holding your body correctly. But we'll do one ab exercise just so that everybody feels like they did something productive. Alrighty, so we are going to want to be in a seated bench, the same position your last exercise was in. If you don't have a bench that you can position this way, you can just be sat up straight on anything, a chair, a couch, or you could just like be sat on the floor, sat back on your knees. But this curl is for the short head of our bicep. So we are going to want to turn our hands all the way out, hands facing the sides of the room. How rude, that truck. And we're going to curl to here. So I don't want to curl up more and my elbows leave the sides or the bench, wherever you have your elbows anchored. So go ahead and start counting with me. We're going to do 8 to 12 reps, depending on what you've got. 1, 2, everything out long to the sides. 3, 4, rotate your biceps out. 5, squeeze, control. You don't want to let gravity do the work for you. Keep your wrists really strong. 7, 8. I'm tired. I think I got 2 more. 9, 1 more. 10. So if you can do 12 of those, go up in weight. If you're at the lower end of the rep range, stay where you are. We're going to do 3 sets of these, and then we're going to do some abs. The more you know, interlude number 2 of the evening. Your bicep has 2 separate muscle heads. That's why it's called a bicep. Our triceps have 3, our quadriceps have 4, and so on and so forth. But so that we are sure to train the entire bicep, we do 2 different types of bicep curls. The hammer curls that we just did train the long head of your bicep, and the long head connects here and then all the way down to your elbow. And then the short head is what we're going to hit now, and that is like the Popeye muscle, like the thing that like pops up there that like I barely have because let's not talk about that. Anyway, that's why we're doing 2 different types of bicep curls, and a fully balanced program will hit both heads of the bicep or all three heads of your tricep or work different modes of your quad. The more you know. Alrighty, our second set of open bicep curls. This is hitting the outer head of our bicep, that Popeye muscle that makes our bicep look more round. And the bicep curls we did before, the hammer curls, were focused on the longer head of the bicep, one that's on the inside. And we're doing 8 to 12 reps, depending on what is possible with the weights you have. Keeping my wrist really strong here. I don't want to let, the weights open up here nice and strong. Open up. That's 8. That's all I've got. We're going to rest a minute and a half. We're going to do one more set of these, and then we are going to put our mat back on the floor for some abs. Alrighty, last set of bicep curls. I don't normally work out at night, so this is strange. But it's Sunday, and so I put it off. But here we are, doing the thing. All right, rotate outwards. Anchor your elbows into either the bench or your torso, and curl up. You see how little of my grip is involved in that? I'm like just kind of holding the weight still with the palm of my hand and my thumbs, just so that I'm not overly gripping and doing too much with my hands or my forearms, because at this point that shit's tired. So you don't, in general, want to use muscles that you're not trying to work out to a point, right? You're always really using your abs, but we don't want our necks to get tired. We don't want our low backs to get tired. We don't really want our grips to get tired and things where you don't really need your grip. Holy cow. I got 2 more reps. Come on. 1. 2. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put my dumbbells away, put my mat out, and then we're gonna do our last exercise. All right, so for our last exercise, which is going to be focused on our lower back and our abs, is a low plank with a slight knee tap. So go ahead and get set up with me as I talk through it. We're going to go into a low plank, so on our forearms. If you want to put your hands in a triangle position or out here or here, whatever feels comfortable. I think I prefer this. And then we're going to bring our knees slightly tap the floor and then push back. The only thing that's moving is from my hips down to my knees, and everything else I'm trying to keep really still. So my shoulders down, my traps are not involved. It's a lot of lower back stability, and this is super good for us in our posture. So let's call that 7. We're going to do 15. 8. Pull your ribs in, pull your belly button into your low back, and breathe. Make it look easy. 12. 13. 14. Control. 15. I feel like I counted that really wrong, but I can't be bothered to go back and look at it and see if I did it right. We're going to take about 35, 45 seconds of rest, and then we're going to do that again. When we're done, we're going to stretch a little bit. Please stick around with me to do that. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Every little bit of support is helpful. I love making these videos, so interacting with me is awesome. Leave comments if you have questions. If you're ever in Mexico City, reach out so that you can come by the gym and train. What else? I think that's about it. I'll give us about 10 more seconds of rest. So when we're doing that plank, you want to pull your ribs in and keep your traps down. You don't want to shrug. We don't want to let our ribs out and make an arch in your low back, keeping your lower back strong and your ribs pulled in. Okay, here we go. Elbows right underneath my shoulders. And I'm going to do 15. I'm going to do a better job counting this time. Pull my ribs in, pull my belly button into my low back, knees tap at the same time, push back through my heels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make it look easy, even though we're tired. 6, 7. Low back strong, no arch in your spine. 9, 10. Breathe, don't hold your breath. 11, 12. 3 more. Pull my traps down, don't shrug. 14. 1 more. 15. Shoo. All right, we're gonna do 1 more of those. I am gonna feel this one tomorrow. We're resting less time between this because yes, we are going to failure, but at this point we're doing more of what's called burnout exercise, where you are just trying to squeeze everything that's left out of your muscles. So we've been doing everything correctly, we've used our abs a lot, bracing through the rows, bracing through our bicep curls, and now through this. So that's why we're not resting our 1.5 minutes, but we're like 45 seconds a minute ish. Okay, here we go. Try your best not to hold your breath in this. That's a tendency, but we don't want to hold our breath. Oxygen is helpful. Oxygen is one of the things our body needs to make energy. So breathe through your sets. 1, shoulder blades down and back. 2, I think this is my favorite hand position. 3, 4, rib cage pulled in, belly button pulled back into your spine. 6. This is our last set. Give it all you got. 8, 9, breathe. 10. Long inhales, long exhales. 12, 13, 14, one more, 15. All right, so from here, just sit back into your heels and push your hands forward into child's pose is what this is called. I'm not about to teach yoga, but we don't need to rename things that already have names. Stretch forward. You want to feel your lats stretching as you reach for distance with your hands, and also push your hips back into your heels. Breathe. Try to let go of some of the tension that we built. It's okay if you like rock side to side a little bit through this. We're going to hang out here for 5 seconds more. Stretch your hands forward. Push your hips back, pushing your ribs into your quads. 3, 2, 1. You're going to bring one hand back and grab your heel. Bring your other hand back and grab your heel, and just pull your shoulders back and down your shoulder blades. Try to find where they should be so that we get rid of that shruggy position. And then we're going to use the floor and sit up and stretch one arm over and pull your elbow into your chest, stretching through your lat and your rear delt. We're going to hold each stretch for 10 seconds because your body naturally, your nervous system fights the stretch, is like, no, for the first 3 seconds. And then after that, 3, 4, 5 seconds, it releases. And that's when you feel the muscle actually stretching. So when you see people kind of bouncing through their stretches, not the best, not the most effective technique. Other side. Pulling your elbow into your chest, straight arm. I like to wiggle my fingers through these a little bit too to encourage circulation through my forearms and through my biceps and my wrists and my fingers. That blood and that circulation is going to encourage your body to recover faster. Blood is what heals tired muscles, so circulation's good. 3, 2, 1. We're going to put our left hand up over our head. Find the top of your back, and then you're going to grab onto that elbow and pull it into your center line, and then push your head back into your shoulder to open up that shoulder and that back. We're going to hold it. My hat's kind of getting in the way. 3, 2, 1. I'll show you better on the other side. Up, hand to your, whoops, no, I lied, to your back. Grab that opposite elbow and pull in, push your head back, open up that shoulder. 3, 4, 5, 6, push, push, push. 8, 9, 10. Good. Slowly come up to here and up to the top. Big stretch. Pull the muscle and then let it go. Roll your shoulders back. We're going to roll our shoulders back 10 times. 3, 4, 5. We spend so much time on cell phones, like looking forward, working on computers. So this posture is valuable. And then we're going to roll forward. Really feeling that stretch through your shoulder and through your back. Like use your body to give yourself a massage. Feel the muscle stretch and roll back. Feel the muscle stretch over and roll back. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to open my feet about, I don't know, a little bit more than hips width apart. And then I'm just going to twist and let my arms flap like spaghetti noodles. Twisting at my spine, bending my knees a little bit, twisting my hips back, and my sight goes behind me. We spend the whole workout tensing our muscles. So I'm going to take this moment and just kind of let everything shake loose. 3, 2, 1. All right, that was our back and biceps for this block. Our last routine for this block will be quads. It'll all be in a playlist so that you can run through this block of exercises as many times as you need to feel like you can dominate the technique and see progress in the weights. Intentional routines like this are the way you see progress and the way that you get stronger instead of jumping around and doing random exercises every week. So once you pick a block, stay with it for like 4, 5, 6 weeks even, and then change the exercises once you feel really good about the form, you feel really good about the weight you're pushing, and you see some progress. Thanks for working out with me, And I'll see you next time. Peace.